Hi everyone, it's Claire again. I'm a second year adult nursing student for anyone who doesn't know me, and today I'm going to talk about student nurse essentials. So these are 6 items that I would recommend having if you're a student nurse. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first item is a backpack, and I just recommend backpacks because they're easier on your back. You don't have to be like one-sided with a handbag, and they can fit so much in them. So I'm going to show you my one that I use, and I'll leave the link to it in the description. I know it's quite basic and a lot of people have it, but I just really like it, and I like the colour as well because I like pink. So this is my bag. So it's a bit dirty, I'm sorry, but it's, as you can see, it's really big. It's half the size of me, and it just fits lots and lots into it. And it's pastel like me, so I really like that one. I got that over a year ago now, and it's actually held up really well, apart from one of my straps actually got burnt in a barbecue, but apart from that, that was my fault. Apart from that, it's really good. So I definitely recommend that backpack, and they're called the, I'm just gonna leave the link below, I don't know how to say it. So that's my definitely first essential. Guys, I'm just editing the video right now, and number 2 is like completely messed up, like all the audio is funny. So I just want to hop in and say that number 2 is a water bottle. They're super important to stay hydrated. Make sure you have a big enough one. Make sure it's leak proof. And yeah, that's number 2, guys. Number 3 is a small notepad, and this is a notepad which I use in placement, and I keep it in my pocket, and anytime my mentor says something really important that I think I might forget by the time lunchtime comes or something, I whip out my little notepad and I write it down. Or if there's any type of new medication that you've never heard of and your mentor or somebody tells you what it's for, or you've a chemotherapy drug or anything like that, you can write it down. So this is the little one I use. As you can see, it's very small, but it's perfect for your pocket, and you can just write down anything. So this is the one I'll be using for my next placement, and it just, as you can see, has a good few lines across the size of it, but it is very small, but it's literally just for one thing per page. So you write one thing and then the next one, and these are actually a sticky note, so it doesn't have to actually be a notepad, but this is also another option if you're looking for it. Okay, so number 4 for the student nurse essentials is compression socks, and these are a lifesaver, let me tell you. So firstly, they stop your ankles from getting really swollen and horrible. They also prevent varicose veins and reduce the risk of blood clots, which obviously we all want. And as being a student nurse or a nurse, when you're on your feet for 12-13 hours a day, we need this more than anyone. And these are just ones I got on Amazon, so I'll leave them linked below, and they're just amazing for not letting your feet get swollen, and you don't come home after a 13-hour shift and your ankles won't be swollen, and they just won't be. Mine even got sore at one stage because obviously the blood flow wasn't as good as it should have been. So I would highly recommend these. Okay, so number 5 is a nursing classic. It's the fob watch. So I have mine here, which my mum actually got for me before I started nursing. This one's actually from Argos, so I'll leave the link in below if they still have this one. If not, I'll find another one. And this one is just really good, really nice and small. Put it about here, and I think it just adds to your uniform as also being really handy. I look at this multiple times every day while I'm on placement, because obviously on placement you can't just whip out your phone when you're with a patient, so you can just quickly check the time like that. It's also useful for taking respiratory rate, so when you're looking at the patients, how many times they breathe a minute. This is really handy because obviously you don't have a phone to put a timer or anything on, so you can just wait for 1 minute. And yeah, it's just essential. Oh, I nearly dropped it. It's just an essential that I think every student nurse and nurse should have. Okay, so my 6th student nurse essential is an app called Brainscape, and this is the only technology bit I've included, yes. and it's an app that incorporates active recall and spaced repetition. So it's an app that you make your own flashcards on, but it includes active recall and spaced repetition, like I mentioned, which if you don't know what they are, I'll be going into more detail in my coming video. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out anything. And I'm just going to quickly show you the Brainscape app. So if you can see here on my iPad, it's this one here. So it's Brainscape. Not now. And let me just show you. Okay, so these are my flashcards that I've made for depression, which I'm studying at the moment. So I've made questions for myself and then I've been able to answer them. So what is a tool nurses can use to rate depression? Then what is a plan nurses can use to plan care? What is the definition of depression, etc. And this keeps going on, and then you flick them over and you're able to see the answers. So you see the question and then you think to yourself, okay, so what is the definition of depression? And then you say it to yourself in your head before, and then you click and you see the answer. So that's the active recall part. And then spaced repetition is if you know it, so you can basically, as you're going through the flashcards, you rate it between 1 to 5 how well you know it. 5 meaning you know it super well, 1 meaning not at all. So if you know, let's say, what is the definition of depression, if you don't know that at all, you'll give yourself a 1, and that means it will come up more frequently until you know what it means. If you give a 5 to something, you won't see it as regularly. So that's the whole spaced repetition part. So it's just amazing, and it might sound quite complicated at the moment, but if I go through it in detail in a video, I can assure you it'll be really easy. And I haven't been using it for that long, but I've noticed a huge difference with the way I study and the grades I get. So I'll go into more detail in the next video. So thank you so much for listening, guys. Hope these student nurse essentials are something that you can maybe pick up if you don't have any of them. And if you're interested in the student nurse starter pack, click the first link in the description to go get yours because they're running out fast. Thanks, guys. Bye.